And our next story comes from India. It is advancing its ties with the United States, expanding them on several fronts: economy, trade, and most importantly, defense. So much so that the US is pushing New Delhi to seal an armed drone agreement. That's right. Have a look at this report. Ahead of the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's state visit to the United States, Washington wants New Delhi to cut through its red tape and advance a deal for dozens of US-made armed drones. Now, you see, this is a clear indication of America's keenness to pull India closer. In fact, ever since the date of PM Modi's visit was fixed, the US State Department, the Pentagon, the White House, they have all asked India to show progress on the deal for as many as 30 armable MQ-9B Sea Guardian drones that will be made by the San Diego-based General Atomics defense firm. And reports say this is all part of the US president's strategy. He has made deepening ties with India a cornerstone of his state policy to counter China's growing influence. And there is no country better than India that he can place his bets on. So naturally, he is paying special attention on collaboration between the world's two largest democracies. Collaboration that will cover advanced military technologies despite the absence of a formal security alliance. America's interest can also be gauged from the kind of officials it is sending to New Delhi. Officials like Jake Sullivan, Joe Biden's national security advisor. He arrived in New Delhi on Tuesday for a two-day state visit, accompanied by a delegation of senior US government officials and leaders. What was their focus? Preparing for the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's upcoming state visit to the United States. In the last 24 hours, Sullivan has met the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, and his Indian counterpart, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. And the meetings largely revolved around strengthening India-US defense ties. And I want to focus on the interaction between the NSA Doval and Jake Sullivan. The two attended a roundtable on advancing the India-US Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technologies, or iCET, ICET. This initiative was launched by the US President and the Indian Prime Minister. This was on the sidelines of the Quad Summit in May 2022. The goal, you see, was to elevate and expand the Indo-US strategic technology partnership and defense industrial cooperation between the two sides, businesses and academic institutions of the two countries. Speaking at the conference, Jake Sullivan said that his government is trying to remove barriers of collaboration on both sides vis-a-vis defense trade, investments, and people-to-people partnerships. Listen to this.
As we look ahead to the state visit that Prime Minister Modi will be embarking upon in Washington next week, along with Ajit Doval and a significant delegation from India, a number of the deliverables at that visit are not just bullet points on a page. They are fundamentally designed to remove those obstacles in defense trade, in high-tech trade, in investment in each of our countries, in taking away obstacles that have stood in the way of better collaboration among our scientists and researchers.
And adding to Jake Sullivan's remarks, Ajit Doval said that this platform, the iCET, will drive the India-US relationship forward as it is the most critical element of bilateral ties.
We have established a strategic trade dialogue. It will serve as a platform to address regulatory barriers and issues relating to export control.
Now, for the unversed, the aim of the iCET initiative is to forge better links between India and the US vis-a-vis government interactions, academia, and industry areas like AI, quantum computing, 5G, biotech, space, semiconductors. And this entire initiative is spearheaded by the National Security Council Secretariat in India and is part of the NSA's vision for India-US ties. a vision that is being highly applauded. Just have a look at what the US ambassador had to say about him. Eric Garcetti. He was in attendance at the iCET conference, and addressing the conference, he described Ajit Doval as not only a national treasure, but an international treasure as well. Listen to this.
And Ajit Doval, a village boy from Uttarakhand, who now has not become only a national treasure, but an international treasure, who has had the same vision to come together and say, what can we do to change the course of this century, to quote National Security Advisor Sullivan, to take us forward. We're not just here to do small things. We're here to do big things, do things that change the course of history, and for the United States and India to just maybe be the co-authors of this next phase that the world faces, its challenges, but also its opportunities.
And the NSA's engagements did not end there. Earlier today, he also received a phone call from Ukraine. It was from the head of the Ukrainian president's office, Andrei Yermak. He dialed the NSA Ajit Doval to seek India's backing for the Ukrainian peace formula to resolve the war to the point of at least a ceasefire while talks continue on territorial claims. And all these developments are shining examples of the stellar work that is being done by India's National Security Advisor. For now, all eyes are on the US for the big Modi-Biden meeting. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.